President Bola Tinubu upbeat, Nigeria's gas reserves will reshape the economy. Quest for additional territory, Nigeria acquires 16,300 square kilometers coastal area. And House of Representatives refutes bribery allegation by cryptocurrency company Binance, labels it diversionary. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. We are reaching you live from Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. President Bola Tinubu has received the report of the high-powered Presidential Committee on Nigeria's Extended Continental Shelf Project with a commendation to the team of experts who worked hard over the years to advance the project. The project, which aims to extend Nigeria's maritime boundaries in accordance with the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, has resulted in a UN approval of an additional area of about 16,300 square kilometers, which is about 5 times the size of Lagos. The presidents received at the State House Professor Larry Awosika and a marine scientist and member of the committee, as well as the secretary of the committee, Aliu Umar, who has been involved in the project since Nigeria's initial submission to extend its continental shelf to the United Nations Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf in 2009. The expert revealed that these interactions and considerations have now culminated in the approval for Nigeria to extend its continental shelf beyond 200 nautical miles. The Presidential Committee added that the UN Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf conveyed to Nigeria the official notification of the decision in August last year. Secretary of the committee, Aliu Umar, disclosed that Nigeria still has the option of revised submission to request for another extension, in addition to what has been approved by the UN Commission. In his presentation, Professor Awosika explained that the approval came after years of meticulous scientific research on geophysics, geology, geography, and diplomatic efforts, which solidified Nigeria's legal rights over the vast expanse of seabed and sub-oil beyond its traditional territorial waters. He highlighted the economic potential of the newly acquired territory, which includes hydrocarbons, gas, solid minerals, and a wide variety of sedentary species. President Tinubu thanked the experts for their diligence, emphasizing the significance of the achievements for Nigeria's economic and strategic interests. He recounted how former presidents Buhari had briefed him on the importance of the project and congratulated the committee and Nigerians for this achievement. He said Nigeria must take advantage of the feat while also pursuing the best option for the country going forward. The Senate has approved a $500 million loan request for the Bureau of Public Enterprise for the purpose of metering the nation. The approval, as requested by the President, is under the 2022 to 2024 External Borrowing Rolling Plan. As recommended by the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts and adopted by the Senate, terms and conditions from the funding agency should be forwarded for concurrence and documentation. The $500 million loan is from the World Bank to improve financing and technical performance of distribution companies under the Nigerian Distribution Sector Recovery Program. Meanwhile, President Tinubu is seeking Senate's confirmation of Emomatimi Agamo as DG Securities and Exchange Commission, with Frana Chukwuogo, Bola Ajomale, and Samia Usman as commissioners. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has called on the Ministry of Transportation to commence the construction of the rail line from Itakpe in Kogi State to Abuja. And the lawmakers at Wednesday's plenary expressed displeasure over the non-execution of the contract 3 years after it was awarded. The House mandated its Committee on Land Transport to investigate the cause of the delay in executing the contract and reports back to the House within 4 weeks.
To urge the Ministry of Transport to ensure immediate execution of the contract that was awarded in this respect. To mandate the Committee on Land Transport to investigate the reasons for the non-execution of the contract and ensure immediate execution of it. That's the Takbe to Abuja rail line. Also mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives Committee on Financial Crimes has described bribery allegations against some members of the committee by cryptocurrency company Binance as diversionary tactics to mislead the public and evade investigations on financial crimes against the Nigerian state. Chairman of the committee, Ginger Onwusibe, says the House will pursue investigations of all petitions against Binance to a logical conclusion and will not be deterred by the antics of bribery allegations put forward by executives of the company.
In order to pull wound over the eyes of Nigerians and the general public with the view to draw away the attention of the world from its unlawful refusal to appear at legitimate and constitutional parliamentary public hearing to answer the allegations of criminal and fraudulent activities, Binance belatedly came up with fabricated, false and malicious allegations of solicitation of bribes by the committee. The allegations are totally false and unfounded. The committee wishes to emphasize that all interactions with Binance were formal, open and transparent. The committee never met with any Binance team outside the National Assembly, nor did the committee delegate any individual or entity to meet with Binance team on its behalf for any purpose.
In other news, the European Union is seeking more ways of advancing Nigeria's security perspectives to reinforce its role in regional and continental peace as well as stability. At the Abuja Road to Schuman Forum engagement, how to strengthen partnerships that will place Nigeria at the forefront of global security environment was the dominant theme. Kelvin Ewonoye reports.
As democracy on the African continent, Nigeria is a key player in both regional and continental levels. But security challenges have been one of the nation's drawbacks in recent times. However, the EU believes that its agenda for peace and security in West Africa will be prepared better if Nigeria is helped to play its leadership role effectively. With an already existing areas of cooperation in defense and security between Nigeria and the EU, in maritime security and support for the multinational joint task force in the Lake Chad Basin, the successes of those endeavors will now act as springboard for further collaboration for counter-terrorism and cyber-security efforts.
When it comes to security and global dynamics, the role of Nigeria in Africa and globally is unquestionable. Nigeria is for us a strategic ally and has developed a significant experience and leading role on key security matters, including on two of the topics that will be discussed today and in Brussels: counter-terrorism and maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea.
In the maritime domain, transnational organized crimes such as piracy, sea robbery, and illegal oil bunkering, unreported and unregulated fishing used to pillage Nigeria's waters and the Gulf of Guinea at large. In recent times, maritime crimes have been drastically reduced, leading to the delisting of Nigeria from piracy-prone countries, as well as countries paying war insurance premiums.
The outcomes of this engagement will form the core of EU and partner submission in the forthcoming Schuman Forum in Brussels, Belgium. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonoye, NTA News.
The federal government says it is on course to harness the nation's gas reserves to boost the nation's economy. President Bola Tinubu disclosed this while inaugurating 3 critical gas infrastructural projects in Delta and Imo states. He said the projects will help Nigeria realize its quest to create values from its gas abundance, emphasizing that the compressed natural gas initiative of the federal governments will be fully achieved with the coming on board of these projects.
Demonstrate the administration's determination to accelerate the development of critical gas infrastructure geared at demonstrably enhancing the supply of energy to boost the industrial growth and create employment opportunity and further prosperity.
Guests who appeared on today's Good Morning Nigeria wants politicians to go beyond the mundane character of election campaigns to providing benchmarks and timelines to enable the electorate to hold them accountable. In addition to upholding these standards, they are also pushing for door-to-door campaign strategies to mobilize undecided voters. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) last month published the final list of 17 candidates, of 1 female and 16 males, vying for the #1 seat in Edo State, and campaigns for the election started 24th April and will end September 19th ahead of the September 21st, 2024 poll. Guests on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria, believe INEC's announcement of continuous voter registration in Edo and Ondo states will capture eligible voters to exercise their franchise towards setting a new democratic experience for other states by upscaling voter education.
The first thing is to encourage Edo people to really go out there and become eligible so that they can vote. So that if we have an ample number to decide who emerges, let us for the first time see if we can have a popular candidate imagine in a popular way.
As campaigns are now in top gear, guests believe candidates should prioritize critical issues tailored towards addressing crucial needs of the Edo people.
That tempo we've seen in Edo State should be maintained. They should allow the politicians to cause disaffection. Using geography, if Edo Central must produce, Edo Central should produce the best from Edo Central.
No, but the important thing is this campaign should no longer be hidden in ambiguity. We must note everything you are saying, one by one, so that midway into the journey, we will begin to evaluate to what extent you have gone.
As we build up to the election, let us hear more and more of what they are going to do for us. Because the election is more about the future, even as some sentiments will flow from the past in determining who the governor will be. And I believe for the 3 major candidates, subject to upset from the remaining 13, I think Edo would not be held down by if any of these 3 became governor.
While the conversation wants security issues, including incidents of violence and intimidation during campaigns, to be tackled, it is hoped that candidates and parties will ensure a peaceful election that will define the future of the state, regarded as the heartbeat of the nation. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
You're watching the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. More reports after this break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has indicated willingness to partner the National Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria in its proposed plan to verify the documents of political aspirants ahead of the 2027 general elections. This was at a meeting between the two bodies at the IPAC headquarters in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
It's a courtesy visit on the leadership of IPAC by the National Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria. The common agenda here is partnership towards preventing electoral fraud and ensuring the credibility of the electoral process.
In Nigeria today, we have about 11,079 elected political offices, from the office of a councillor to the position of a president. And today we believe if we can get the process of getting these 11,079 people right, if we can get the best and the ablest into these positions, I can guarantee you 90% of the problems that Nigeria faces will disappear.
You have to be prepared for challenges. We have all the enabling laws in Nigeria, but sincerely, politics have been made to be so lucrative economically, and that, I think, accounts for 70 to 80% of the problems we have in the system, because it's more of business than service to the nation.
Part of strategies adopted by the leadership of the National Chartered Institute of Forensics and Certified Fraud Investigators of Nigeria going forward is to authenticate the documents of aspirants to political offices before primary elections. This includes verifying tax and academic certificates, among others. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Abuja has granted bail to the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, to the tune of 300 million naira and 2 shorties in like sum in another 4-count charge preferred against him. The presiding judge, Justice Marianne Neni, gave the order in a ruling on the bail application filed by the Defense Counsel in the matter. Emefiele, who was earlier today rearraigned before the court on the 4-count charge, which borders on unlawful printing of naira notes and unapproved withdrawal of funds. The former CBN governor, who is being prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, pleaded not guilty to all counts and filed for bail through his counsel, Mahmoud Magaji, SAN. The bail conditions are the same with the one granted by Justice Hamza Muazu of the same court, except that the defendants will not travel outside the country without the permission of the court. Justice Neni adjourned the case to 28th and 29th of May for commencement of trial. The Public Complaints Commission is working to expand its advocacy with the planned launching of an Ombudsman radio station. This was revealed by the Chief Commissioner Public Complaints Commission, Abimbola Ayo Yusuf, during a one-day stakeholder summit in Abuja. Minna Daniels reports.
With over 48 years of chasing the truth, serving justice and earning public trust, the Public Complaints Commission boasts dispensing and dispersing more than 20,000 cases. However, earning public trust and confidence doesn't come easy in spite of the amount of resources expended. This explains the synergy with Foundation for Youth Empowerment and Social Welfare to expand advocacy and discourse.
And as for the awareness, we have an Ombudsman radio. We're just waiting for it to get our frequency, but at the end of the week, they should start online. The awareness is coming up.
This one-day stakeholder summit is a platform for public and private sector players, as well as law enforcement representatives, to rub minds on best practices in the justice sector, serve justice as it when due, and earn the confidence of citizenry.
This summit is vital because it addresses the numerous and complaints of citizens who have faced injustice over the years. Our foundation is partnering with the Public Complaints Commission, PCC, to ensure that these voices are heard.
The reason why the Nigerian Police Force established this complaint response unit is because so many Nigerians felt that they don't even need to go to seek for justice, because at the end of it, it will be full time.
We spend a great deal to handle customers' complaints, especially that we never allowed that to go beyond our office.
The consensus here is that the Public Complaints Commission should be funded adequately to enable it leverage technology to advance advocacy on multiple platforms and share resources with stakeholders. The success of the Commission's enforcement unit is evidenced by its recovery of more than 200 million naira. In Abuja, Minna Daniels, NTA News.
Let's turn our attention to security matters now, and the Nigerian Army is upscaling training of personnel to combat the nation's complex security challenges. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tauri Lagbaja stated this in a message at the opening ceremony of the 23 Brigade Simulation Exercise, codenamed Exercise Zaki Ruri, at the Land Forces Simulation Center in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The intensive training on the use of Massa software technology for personnel of the 23 Brigade Yola is focused on enhancing the operational capacity of the Army using simulation technologies. This creates real-time scenario and enhances the training of troops to effectively tackle emerging threats in their general area of responsibility.
It is expected to expose salient gaps which could hinder attainment of total security and defense of the 23 Brigade area of responsibility.
The Director General of the Center, Major General Yusuf, says the Army has intensified aggressive response to security threats and will ensure constant review of its mode of operation to eliminate criminals and their camps.
We do not have any option than to continue to provide first-class training to all officers and men of the Nigerian Army. Only by providing this training will we, as a force or as a nation, bring to a logical conclusion the entire security challenges we are facing in this country.
The center focuses on employment of modern technology and deliberate efforts to develop leadership skills of junior commanders who are critical component of the ongoing internal security operations across the country. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Super Eagles forward Cyril Dessers scores again to help Scottish Premiership side Rangers keep title hopes alive. And world number 1 Iga Swiatek eases into semi-finals of Italian Open with comfortable win over Madison Keys. Over now to our sports desk.
Cyril Dessers was on target as Rangers orchestrated a thrilling comeback to clinch a 5-2 victory over Dundee, keeping the Scottish Premiership title race alive. The Super Eagles striker scored in 52 minutes to level the score at 2-2 after Dundee went into half-time 2-0 up. The win saw Rangers on 84 points, cut leaders Celtic's lead to 3 points. It was Dessers' 16th goal in the Scottish top flight and his 22nd strike in all competitions this season. In tennis, Iga Swiatek breezed into the semi-finals of the Italian Open with a straight-set victory over 18th seed Madison Keys. The 22-year-old